Hello, I'm Ann Campion-Riley, and I'm the 2015-2016 president of ACRL. I am happy to be talking to you here today to welcome you to ACRL's leadership group, as we call it, the leadership class for 2016 and 2017. And first of all, let me thank you so much for volunteering to contribute your time and expertise to ACRL. We really appreciate your commitment, and we could not accomplish what we do without your participation. I am in particular looking forward to working with you during the 2016-2017 program year. I will be the past president that year and still very involved with the association in that year that, of course, starts after our annual conference in Orlando. We're doing this session today as a so-called flipped presentation. We're asking you to view this recorded presentation before the live virtual meeting on Wednesday, May 18th. On the 18th, we'll have a short presentation with updates and highlights, and most importantly, you will have your opportunity to engage with ACRL staff and board leaders. We hope that by giving you this opportunity to watch the orientation in advance, it will give us more time to address specific questions that you may have during the live session. And you will also have a chance to evaluate this new format after our face-to-face session, and we look forward to your feedback. We are doing this flip presentation, as I think I mentioned, because of feedback that we got last year, that the live, long presentation was just kind of not as effective, and we're hoping that giving people this different way to do it will be better. If for some reason you are not available to participate in the live portion, ACRL staff and leadership are always happy to take your questions by mail. I really want you to have the tools you need to succeed, so don't hesitate in any way to ask questions or get more information on what's going on. Some outcomes from today that we would like to see, we hope to give you an increased understanding of ACRL as an association and a division of ALA, so you have a better understanding of how we all work together and what your pieces of the puzzle are. In particular, I want you to understand the expectations that the association has of you as part of this group of leaders for 2016 and 2017. And finally, we want you to know how to get things done in ACRL. We are slightly bureaucratic, as you've probably noticed, so we want to be sure you know how to negotiate that. This session is going to focus on some sort of nitty-gritty details, but I also want to take a minute to say how rewarding working for ACRL can be. I've been involved for many, many years now, and I, in particular, really enjoyed being president this year, working with committees for the Plan of Excellence, put it into operation, meeting members, in particular my visits to some of the chapters and award presentations, representing our members at meetings, and working on behalf of all academic libraries. ACRL is a great organization, and members of it that I have met are very passionate, dedicated to their work and to the profession. And again, I want to thank all of you as my colleagues in leadership who are willing to share the responsibility for ACRL's continued excellence and exceptional service to our members, because you, our members, are what matter, and you as leaders are going to help us. So now I want to talk just a little bit about your role as leaders in this year's leadership class, if you will, for 2016-2017. We're going to look a little bit at ACRL structure. I mentioned sort of nitty-gritty kind of things, so you know how to get things done. This is something that we talked about a little bit at the Leadership Council last year, and on the evaluations we got from people, some said, oh, I want more of the nitty-gritty. Some said people shouldn't have interrupted to add things about the structure of ACRL. Everybody here already knows that. This is actually a tricky thing to keep in mind, and even as I said, I've been active for many years, the structure is still something that we have to think about and be aware of. So each and every ACRL leader is important to the profession, to the association. As unit leaders, you have an important role in helping ACRL advance the strategic plan. A really essential thing that you all do is help us to recruit and foster leaders who are going to be emerging to be our future leaders. So the four main groups in ACRL that I should talk about as far as big chunks in the structure. First of all, there's the ACRL Board of Directors. The Board of Directors has general oversight and direction of the affairs of the association. The board conducts all business pertaining to the association and has authority to make decisions and to speak on behalf of the organization. We have, of course, divisions in the association, and we have division-level committees and editorial board chairs and vice chairs. Division-level committees are charged by the board to accomplish specific association business, advise the board, or advance the association's strategic goals. The vice president, president-elect appoints member volunteers to serve on these committees. And the first group you'll think of as these division-level or ACRL level committees are the goal area committees, the goal areas of our plan for excellence. So that's one way to think of it. We also then have section chairs and vice chairs, interest and discussion group leaders, the chair of chapters council, and the representatives assembly. The communities of practice group is the overall one that offers specialized membership engagement opportunities. Communities of practice are approved by the board and have significant autonomy in determining their own strategic goals and how to best accomplish them. Section vice chairs appoint member volunteers to serve on their section committees. And remember, communities of practice are sections and interest and discussion groups, chapters council, and representative assembly. The expectations for this work, people work year-round. They do this through virtual meetings and conference calls, obviously online discussions also. It's important as leaders that we give clear direction for our members and that you keep up ongoing communication with your members. So here, again, we have laid out these four groups that sit under the Board of Directors. This is a graphic for the Plan for Excellence, and I'm really pleased to be involved in an association that is as strategic-minded as ACRL, and hope that each of you will find satisfaction in contributing to ACRL's success. So, as I mentioned before, our strategic plan is called the Plan for Excellence. Most of you will have heard about it. Some of you may have even had opportunities to provide feedback on it. And you'll see that ACRL has just four strategic goal areas: the value of academic libraries, student learning, research and scholarly environment, enabling programs and services, and new roles and changing landscapes. Enabling programs and services isn't one of the areas on the strategic areas on the Plan for Excellence, but that's something that we do on an ongoing basis. And it is a portion of the Plan for Excellence. As the Higher Education Association for Librarians, which is how we at ACRL style ourselves, we lead academic and research libraries and librarians in advancing learning and transforming scholarships by focusing on the four areas as well as enabling programs and services. We do this by having specific objectives and carefully measuring and monitoring our progress. If you haven't already, please do take a look at the Plan for Excellence and review it with your group. Take a look at ACRL's core purpose, as this is something that we need to keep in mind that helps keep our leadership focused, connected, and engaged. So the enabling programs and services portion of what we do, which encompasses budget and finance, publications, membership, and other operational support, working with the committees and communities of practice, keep the association responsive to the needs of academic and research librarians. And later on, we'll talk a little bit about how you will be sharing your work with the ACRL Board of Directors.
Hello, I'm Mary Ellen Davis, ACRL Executive Director, and I'm really looking forward to working with you this year. Now, my role here is to give you a little bit of context for the environment in which you're volunteering. First, that you should realize that ACRL is a part of the American Library Association, and ALA is the only legal entity. ACRL, founded in 1940, was the first division of ALA, and ACRL is its largest division. We celebrated our 75th anniversary in 2015. Now, in the eyes of the Internal Revenue Service, ALA is a 501c3. Now, what does that mean? It means that we are a charitable, educational, nonprofit organization founded for the public benefit. We are not a professional association, even though I know I joined ALA at the beginning of my career to find my professional home, and I know that many of us think of it that way. But the IRS thinks of us as an organization for the public benefit. Now, why am I making a distinction? This status puts limits on the amount of lobbying and political activity we can do, and that's especially important to know in this election year. So this means that as a 501c3, we can have absolutely no political speech. We cannot have any discussions supporting or opposing specific candidates or viewpoints. We can't organize any boycotts, and this should be fairly obvious, but we cannot make defamatory remarks about others. Now, let me be clear, this is not a free speech issue. This is simply a tax issue because the IRS has classified us as an organization for the public benefit. And it would please me greatly if ACRL were not the one to cause ALA to lose its tax-exempt status. So if you're in doubt, feel free to contact me and we'll go over the specifics. Now, another thing you should know is that as a division of ALA, we are entirely self-supporting financially. We get no direct financial support. ACRL revenues, dues, registrations, sales of publications, ads, etc., cover all of ACRL's expenses, including staff. ALA does not give us a portion of its money. And divisions pay ALA an indirect cost on non-dues revenue that is generated, which in FY17, fiscal year 17, will be 26.4%. So to illustrate, when ACRL charges you a conference registration, for every dollar that you pay ACRL to go to that conference, 26.4 cents goes directly to ALA. And ALA uses those monies to offset support services such as our IT department, our consultation for legal advice, the Human Resources Department, the Financial Services, the Membership Department, the Office for Intellectual Freedom, and things like that. Now let's take a look at a few key policies. Communication is so important, and as an ACRL leader, you may be asked to communicate or to send a letter or comment on a specific issue or a topic of interest to the profession. But please know that only the ACRL Board of Directors may speak for ACRL. You are welcome to comment and send letters on behalf of yourself as an individual, but not if you use your ACRL title. Now, the ACRL Board invites you to suggest to them when it is important for ACRL to make a statement on an issue, and they welcome your suggestions. And we do try to respond promptly. In the last year or two, our colleagues in Michigan asked ACRL to send a letter speaking against a proposed bill in the Michigan Senate, which would included in its budget proposal a penalty against any public college or university that was teaching a labor-related course or offered a labor studies program. This, of course, violates one of ACRL's core beliefs in the ALA Library Bill of Rights. So ACRL Board was very happy to consider that issue and send a letter to Michigan explaining how this bill would be a detriment to freedom of speech and information. Informal communication is also important within ACRL's work in the higher ed community. ACRL has a number of opportunities to work outside of the association. Individual sections, interest groups, ACRL officer staff, and the Liaison Coordinating Committee reach out to higher ed associations. And the Liaison Coordinating Committee coordinates an assembly of all ACRL members working with other organizations. And our goal area committees have developed talking points that ACRL liaisons can use when working with other groups. Your committee or section or community of practice might have issues that would be of interest to liaisons, and I know they would welcome your suggestions for talking points. Note that ALA policy states that only ALA Council can create formal relationships, and that would be a relationship when another organization invited us to have a formal role on their governance body. But those would be coordinated by ALA, but all the work that we're doing with our higher ed associations to present and to discuss and to contribute are just fine with our informal relationships on. A few other policies I wanted you to be aware of are surveys. It's so easy these days with SurveyMonkey and other tools to do a survey, and you're welcome to do as many as your membership can stand as long as you stay within your own community of practice. If you'd like to go beyond that, we ask that you send them to the ACRL office for review and assistance. This is necessary so that we can ensure the highest quality of the survey, can avoid duplication, and avoid survey fatigue, because we'll know if another community of practice or another committee or ALA or ACRL are getting ready to send a survey. We don't want to send them in the same time frame. And we're certainly happy to work with you on refining a survey even for your own community of practice to ensure that it has the highest quality. And once your survey is all ready to go and approved, we're happy to work with you to see the best way to disseminate that survey. We also like to say that as part of your work for a committee within a community of practice, ACRL and ALA has the right of first refusal on that work, so that we'd be happy to talk to you about an idea that you think is publication worthy. And Erin Nevius is our content strategist, and we'd be happy to answer your questions about that. Now, communication is a really important concept in this international association such as ACRL. To some, ACRL can seem like a really complex organization, and we do have many committees and communities of practice working towards ACRL's core purpose and key goals. So as a leader, you have a key role in connecting the members of your community with ACRL's big picture and helping them feel a part of this wonderful and diverse community. Communication within ACRL has the extra challenge of multiple locations and time zones and commitments which demand your committee members or community of practice members' time. However, clear communication is so important, and I encourage you as leaders to determine how your committee or section or interest group will work best and communicate your expectations to your colleagues and proceed accordingly. Now, first, a basic piece of information. How do you know who is on your team? ACRL has a web-based directory of leadership that provides contact information for all the members of your leadership team, whether it's your section or your section committee or your interest group conveners. Specific contact information is only visible to ACRL members who log in order to protect your privacy. Once they log in, you're able to see the full roster. And the rosters are dynamically linked to the contact information in ALA's membership database. So please encourage your members to keep their ALA record up to date, and then you'll have the latest contact information in the directory of leadership. Since the membership year is beginning July 1, now is a great time for you to review those rosters, see who's on your team, and reach out to your colleagues and introduce yourself to begin making plans for the coming year. For best results, member leaders have used technology to stay in touch and keep working on projects throughout the year. And ACRL does have many channels for communicating information and announcements, as well as for gathering feedback on important association business. Let's look at a few of these methods now. For face-to-face, we have the Leadership Council and Welcome Reception at every ALA conference and midwinter meeting. And of course, you can schedule other meetings at those conferences to get the work of your group accomplished. For email, we have a couple of standard publications available for subscription, the ACRL Insider, where you can receive announcements of general interest about ACRL initiatives, programs, and services, and you can subscribe to Insider updates by going to that website and entering your email address. And then ACRL Update, which provides a 2-week announcement recap on ACRL going on. And you can also subscribe to that by going to our listserv sign up. And then, of course, we have discussion lists by email. ACRL Leads is a listserv that we subscribe all the current chairs and newly appointed vice chairs to, where we will push out some common news for the good of the organization. And then there's a community of practice listserv where current chairs and newly appointed vice chairs are automatically subscribed. This list has two purposes. One, we really hope that you will build community there and see it as a resource where you can help each other, ask questions, share ideas with each other, and help prevent reinventing the wheel. And then it has an administrative purpose so that we can push out information to you about your leadership responsibilities, deadlines, reminders, report forms. We will put all of that information to remind you throughout the year of what's coming up. And then we have the option of virtual meetings. We use ALA Connect, Adobe Connect software, WebEx, and whatever the flavor might be in another year, we will try to make it available so that to facilitate your group being able to get together. You might wonder, what does the ACRL Board of Directors have to do with me? Now, there are times that your committee will have needs beyond your own committee, and this is when they can reach out to the ACRL board. For example, ACRL's Information Literacy Immersion Program started with an individual and then the instructions section, and the individual came to the board with a new idea. Most recently, the Data Curation Interest Group came to the board to request development of a roadshow for data management content. And the Standards Committee regularly comes to the board to let them know when a new standard or guideline is needed or when one needs to be updated. So if you wanted the board to take an official action, please fill out a Board of Directors action form. Currently, each committee has a board liaison and a staff liaison. Think of these people as your team. If you're not sure whether or when to communicate with the board, ask your board or staff liaison and they'll help you. Now, we will send to you deadlines for reports and actions, and we'll put those on the electronic discussion list and the ALA Connect space for committees. Items are turned in prior to the conferences so the board has time to thoughtfully review and consider your requests. But the board also works virtually, so your items do not have to wait until a midwinter or annual conference for action. Now, the final place that we can get together is Leadership Council, which is a face-to-face opportunity for us to gather at the ALA midwinter meetings and annual conferences. Sometimes I'm asked by new people at Leadership Council, why am I here and why did I get invited? Well, as mentioned earlier, we really consider you the ACRL leadership class, and together you offer ACRL a great brain trust. We use this time to get your input. For example, we've developed ACRL Strategic Plan, the Plan for Excellence, with input from the Leadership Council. And we added a fourth goal based on discussions with the leaders over the last year. We share the thinking of the board on any number of new initiatives or governance or structural changes, bylaws changes, committees changes, things about the environmental scan, the future of academic librarianship. And sometimes we provide speakers or professional development opportunities. We've shared the Harwood Kitchen Table Conversations approach and taught appreciative inquiry and had speakers from the ACRL Harvard Leadership Institute attend. So we look for a variety of ways to enhance your leadership and get your input on managing the organization's future directions. This Leadership Council is followed by a welcome reception, which is an opportunity to meet and network with other ACRL leaders. I hope to see you both at the Leadership Council and the welcome reception this summer. And if we haven't met yet, I hope we will at those sessions. Please be sure to introduce yourself.
I'm Mary Jane Petrowski, and I'd like to review some important deadlines as well as budgets and professional opportunities. You'll be glad to know that the ACRL staff will give you abundant and advance notice of all upcoming dates and deadlines via the committee chair's discussion list, to which everyone has been subscribed. You've probably noticed that your term of office is not the same as the ALA fiscal year. There's a 2-month delay. Please contact Allison Payne if you have any questions about this situation. As you probably know, ALA has an open meeting policy, and this applies to virtual meetings as well. If you plan to hold a virtual meeting, we ask that you give 10 days notice in ALA Connect and post the agenda in minutes, as well as sending them along to your staff liaison. We do encourage groups to prepare meeting highlights rather than minutes. We simply need to know what key actions or decisions were made, as well as your next steps. For example, who is going to do what by when. Your predecessors, the outgoing chairs, will have until July 8th to submit their work plan reports for the coming year and July 15th to submit meeting highlights. And we'll certainly remind you next year when it's your turn to complete these reports. The board uses your reports to assess our collective progress on the plan for excellence, and they will be reading them to prepare for their strategic planning meeting in September. Let's briefly review how funding and reimbursement works. First, all committees receive funding allocations of $150, and unused funds are not carried over to the next fiscal year. Since the ALA fiscal year ends August 31st, we do ask all reimbursement requests be submitted by August 15th. Now, the ACRL annual budget does include unallocated funds for strategic initiatives. So if your group has an exciting idea for a new initiative that requires funding, please work with your board and staff liaison to help shepherd your request. As leaders in the association, we know you are uniquely positioned to identify colleagues who are deserving of recognition. We currently have 20 awards, and our 17 award committees would greatly appreciate your nominations, which are due the first Friday in December. ACRL offers several modes of online learning. The ACRL e-learning provides a unique opportunity to participate in professional development events that are focused on practical topics. Now, each year there's an open call for proposals for e-learning topics, so please contact Margot Conahan if you have ideas. Ideas and proposals are reviewed and approved by ACRL staff. ACRL committees are very welcome to host online discussion forums. They're free, open to all, and all publicity and preparation would be handled by the committee hosting the forum. Some of you might have attended a recent one offered by the instruction section on strategic design. All of these are archived for future reference, so they become kind of a growing resource. The ACRL conference is your once every 2 years opportunity to access the best information, discover new ideas, and stay in the forefront of the profession. We just want to flag 2 deadlines. The first is May 6th. Proposals for contributed papers, panel sessions, workshops, and pre-conference programs are due on that date. The second deadline is October 14th for poster session, roundtable discussion, TechNet presentations, and virtual conference webcast proposals. So I'm looking forward to meeting all of you in Orlando at the ACRL Leadership Council, so safe travels.
Hello, I'm ACRL Program Officer Allison Payne. I work with the Board of Directors, Budget and Finance Committee, and coordinate the division-level appointments process. Today I'll be sharing some information about programs, web resources, and work plans. There are many ways to serve the professional development needs of members, including articles, standards, web resources, and pre-conferences. Another option to consider is an annual conference program. The Professional Development Committee, also known as PDC, oversees the annual conference program process. The PDC uses a competitive peer review selection process, so not every program idea will be accepted. This is a great opportunity for joint programs. ACRL is allowed approximately 20 programs at each annual conference. ACRL division-level committees, sections, interest groups, and individual ACRL members can submit proposals for annual conference programs. These proposals will be evaluated in the same way using the same selection criteria. For 2017, program proposals will be due September 1st, 2016, and notifications will be issued in early October of 2016. 28 proposals will be due in September of 2017. Please consider discussing your 2017 program topic and possible collaboration with other ACRL units or individuals during an online chat in ALA Connect. The chat will remain open through the summer of 2016, so please check back and review any requests for collaboration. If you have questions, check out Chapter 9 of the Guide to Policy and Procedures or contact ACRL Program Officer Megan Griffin. For 2017-18, the newly elected incoming Vice President will approve all appointments. Please note committees do not make their own appointments. Appointment terms follow the membership year, which runs July 1st through June 30th annually. The official call for 2017-2018 committee volunteers will go out this fall, and the volunteer deadline will be February 15th of 2017. Always be on the lookout for opportunities to involve more people and go beyond the usual suspects. The more volunteers in the database, the more people the President, the Vice President, and the Appointments Committee will have to create strong matches for committee appointments. If a non-member attends your committee's meeting this summer in Orlando, let them know that they should volunteer through the online system. Volunteers must submit their names into the volunteer form to demonstrate their commitment and ensure they are considered. The volunteer form is only available to current members because all appointments must be ACRL members throughout the duration of their committee appointment. Every committee is assigned a board liaison who serves as the first point of contact for questions and advice based on the board's member knowledge of ACRL's mission, policies, and procedures, and strategic goals. Board liaisons are assigned by the incoming president each June, so be sure to check out your roster next month to see who your board liaison is. Here we have photos of the governance team, which includes Mary Ellen Davis, myself, and Elola Sharp. So let me flag one resources on the Working with ACRL webpage. The ACRL Guide to Policies and Procedures is a detailed and comprehensive guide to policy and procedure. We update this after every board meeting and are happy to answer any questions about it. ALA is currently in the process of transitioning to a new platform for ALA Connect. We expect this to happen this fall and expect that many of the features will stay the same. Staff will keep you updated on this transition. Your login for ALA Connect is your ALA website login and password. Please note that your access to ALA Connect is tied directly to your membership. If you are not a current member, you will not be able to access ALA Connect. You will want to make sure that you have notifications turned on in ALA Connect so that you are notified when a new post is available in your ALA Connect space. All ACRL units have ALA Connect community workspaces. ALA Connect has many useful features such as the calendar, discussion posts, and file sharing, which I'll discuss on the next slide. File sharing is one of the best features in ALA Connect. The file folder structure allows you to keep things organized and to easily pass materials to incoming committee members. This is a great place to save down agendas and minutes. You can make files public or keep them private so only your group can see them. Private documents mainly pertain to items with sensitive information, for example, evaluation of award applicants. Per ALA policy, all activities of committees should be conducted as openly as feasible. ACRL is pleased to announce that we're now offering LibGuides as a free service for our membership units. This includes LibGuides and LibAnswers. LibGuides should not replace ALA Connect, but can be a great tool for publishing toolkits, FAQs, and bibliographies. At ACRL, we ask committees to report on past activities through an annual report template and to share future projects with the committee work plan. The combined work plan and report template is a great tool to transfer knowledge to incoming leadership. The annual work plans connect the committee work with the ACRL Plan for Excellence strategic goal areas and enabling programs and services. Each committee has an important leadership team, which includes the chair, vice chair, board liaison, and staff liaison. Please get in the habit of engaging as a group to ensure the best results of your work. Information and instructions will be posted on ALA Connect and shared via committee listservs for your work plan and report. Please note the timeline for completing the annual work plan. Work plan, report, and work plan drafts are due shortly after annual conference. As leaders, you should be in communication with your board and staff liaisons if you have any questions throughout the process. Your board liaison will also approve the final work plan, which is due August 12th, in order for you to carry out your work during the rest of the year. The final approved version of the work plan should be posted in ALA Connect. You should also send your your work plan and report directly to me so they can be shared with the ACRL Board of Directors. After work plans have been submitted, committees will carry out their planned projects during August 2016 through June 2017. All division-level committees are responsible for a year-end report covering the 2015-16 year and a work plan that will look ahead to 2016-2017. The outgoing chair is responsible for completing the year-end report, and the incoming chair is responsible for the work plan. I know this process can at times seem complicated, but you know that you can always be in touch with your board and staff liaisons if you have any questions. The 4 goal area committees, Value of Academic Libraries, Student Learning, Research and Scholarly Environment, and our newly added goal, New Roles and Changing Landscapes, have a special reporting form, and they will work with their board and staff liaisons to complete the form. So let's hear on our next slide from Lois Sharp about meetings.
Hi everyone, my name is Lois Sharp and I'm the ACRL Program Coordinator for Governance, and I will be talking to you about meetings today. During this section, I'll be discussing both face-to-face and virtual meetings. ALA will meet next year in Atlanta for midwinter and in Chicago for annual conference. Many committees meet face-to-face at ALA conferences, but this is not required at all. ALA is changing the focus to having its conferences focus on conversations and content, so please feel free to meet virtually. If you're interested in meeting face-to-face, ACRL staff will notify you of the process and deadlines for scheduling meetings at conference this fall. When you schedule a meeting, you'll also need to request your AV. That is very important, such as your flip charts and your microphones. Please note, ALA can only provide very limited support for your blended meetings, which are meetings with some people in a conference room and others participating virtually. This is based on availability and depends on the conference city. You will need to request remote access AV by the deadline. Don't worry, I'll send you that information via committee chair's listserv. Now regarding virtual meetings, to facilitate year-round work, you may want to meet virtually in between ALA conferences. Or since you're not required to have face-to-face meetings anymore at ALA conferences, you may meet exclusively online. That is your option. If you like to use the Adobe Connect or WebEx software that we're currently using for a future virtual meeting, just please feel free to contact me to schedule a meeting. The ACRL Guide to Policies and Procedures describes the support we provide for virtual meetings and what information you need to schedule a session. The open meetings policy applies to virtual as well as face-to-face meetings. You should publish your agenda and public notice of the meeting 2 weeks before the meeting in ALA Connect. A public record of the meeting in the form of meeting highlights must be posted within 30 days of the meeting. Please note, formal minutes, they are not required at all, but basic notes that captures action, major points, should be posted to ALA Connect following the meeting. And these minutes should also be sent to Allison Payne at apayne@ala.org so that they can be archived and shared with the ACRL Board of Directors. Other options are conference calls. If you desire to use conference calls for your meeting, you can set up a freeconferencecall.com, set up an account on your own. Or to facilitate meeting scheduling, you may be interested in using the free Doodle poll service. That's another option. Now let's talk about meeting effectiveness. Some of you may be experts at planning committee meetings, developing agendas, and facilitating meetings. Some of you may be new at this process, and that's okay. A few years ago, EBSS received special funding to work with Elearning, the ALA parliamentarian, to develop these tip sheets to help you plan, manage, and report out your meetings. They are really excellent resources. And talking about resources, you will have access to these resources in ALA Connect with your incoming term that starts July 1st, 2016. Elearning, ALA parliamentarian, offers guidance and advice regarding all aspects of planning, conducting, and managing effective meetings. Additional information on this ACRL initiative can be found in the article, Making the Meeting, Resources for Effective Meetings by Lisa Romero in the June 2008 issue of CNRL News. And some of the resources accessible to all current ALA members are Building the Foundation for Effective Meetings, where you can learn how to develop a clear purpose for your meeting and establish ground rules for interaction during the meeting. Also, roles of the meeting chair. That's very important. How to strategically chair a meeting effectively and bring out the best in your committee members. And last, avoiding chaotic, adversarial, and aimless meetings. No one wants that to happen. And this particular one helps you to analyze approaches and techniques that can be used to create productive and enjoyable meetings. Everybody loves an enjoyable meeting, and everyone likes a meeting that is not only productive, but engaging. And you can also find helpful tip sheets that are available in the Spanish version for you as well. And that's meetings. Thank you.
To start to wrap up, I have some next steps for you. First of all, please make sure that your ALA Connect profile is up to date. It's nice if you can add a photo of yourself. That's helpful, and I know many of you probably do this at your own institution. It gives people a face with a name, and is a nice thing to do. Secondly, it's important to reach out and introduce yourself. Welcome your new committee members. You doesn't have to be an elaborate conversation. It can be phone, it can be email, whatever way you prefer to communicate. But this is a really good thing to touch base with members and bring them into the fold. You also need to touch base with the outgoing chair, and I hope most of you already will know your outgoing chair, and maybe you even served with him or her. So that shouldn't be too tough. But for some of you, you may not know the person, so do get the name and reach out to him or her to familiarize yourself with the work of the group. Read the work plan report and then draft a new work plan, and we can talk more about that. Some of you may be very familiar with this, some of you may not. It's important that you review your work plan with the board staff and liaison after annual conference, and then we're asking that you post those final work plans by the middle of August 12th or thereabouts. And as I said, if you have more questions about that, more specifics, I know there's some in the orientation, but I know this can be a bit daunting. So again, don't hesitate to reach out. And then just a reminder that the live virtual meeting is going to be on Wednesday the 18th through WebEx. I want to really thank you for viewing this recorded presentation in advance. And I look forward to having live conversation with you and answering any questions that you may have. And as I said, don't hesitate to reach out and ask questions. And finally, last but very much not least, I really hope to see you all in Orlando. It's going to be a great conference. We have some wonderful speakers. We hear that the facilities in Orlando are greatly improved since we were there last, and there are many new pedestrian options. I'm even hoping that the weather will be pretty good. So I hope to see you there. We do, of course, respect that some groups will choose to work virtually, and that's an opportunity that you have. But for those of you who can make it to Orlando, I really hope to see you there. Thanks so much.